There is a creation story of a woman falling from the sky world. As she fell, she punched a hole into the darkness, letting the light shine through. All of the animals in the dark water below gathered to keep her safe. She felt the beating wings of geese as they flew before her to break her fall. The turtle gave its back for her to rest, far from the home she's ever known. The muskrat dove deep into the waters and gave his life to retrieve the mud from its depths. Sky Woman spread the mud on the turtle's back, creating Turtle Island. The Indigenous people of Canada have been on this land since time immemorial. We are a diverse culture spanning from the coastal waters of the West Coast, over the mountains, and across the plains to the farthest reaches of Canada's East Coast. The Indigenous peoples of Canada are very diverse with rich cultures and traditions. As European settlers spread across Turtle Island and began farming the land and building cities, the Indigenous peoples found themselves removed from the land and forced into reservations, caught between two worlds. One world of traditional knowledge and ways of knowing, and the other of colonialism and industrialization. As time went on, Indigenous people started overcoming major obstacles from colonization and adapting to this new way of life. They began migrating to these cities looking for education and opportunity. In the past, we have broken down Indigenous people in Canada into three pillars: First Nation, Métis, and Inuit. But over the last century, a new pillar has formed, the urban Indigenous, which is a mixture of all three pillars yet stands on its own like the others. Currently in Alberta, 68% of Indigenous people live in urban and rural communities. In some provinces, that percentage is even higher. One of the many problems with this transition was there was no support to help preserve Indigenous culture and create safe spaces for Indigenous people to learn and create opportunity.
The scale of the crisis has been clear for years. Hundreds of Indigenous women murdered or missing in Canada.
First Nations people make up just over 3% of the province's population, but account for more than 16% of illicit drug deaths. Between January and May, 89 people identifying as First Nations died from overdoses, a 93% increase over the same period last year.
A 6-month investigation done by the city's ombudswoman into the living conditions of homeless Indigenous individuals in the center of Montreal, a humanitarian crisis.
Troy Bird has spent most of his life in foster care, aging out at 21.
I feel like I've lost a lot of foster kids, including myself, have lost that connection to their traditional side.
Suicide rates in Saskatchewan are 26 times higher for Indigenous girls than their non-Indigenous peers, 6 times higher for Indigenous boys.
Because of needs like these, the Friendship Center movement was born. The Friendship Center movement started in people's kitchens and basements and slowly grew to what it is today. There are over 100 Friendship Centers across Canada that are providing much-needed cultural and social support to Canada's urban Indigenous population. Since 1965, the Grand Prairie Friendship Center has existed to administer and implement programs to meet the needs of Indigenous people migrating to or living in cities while bridging the cultural gap between the Indigenous and non-Indigenous communities. Over the years, this work has not been easy and has come with many challenges. Everything from funding to being recognized by our own community and government for the work we do. One of the moments that highlighted the importance of the Friendship Center was the pandemic.
When the pandemic hit, the Grand Prairie Friendship Center had to figure out how to continue to offer programming to the membership and to the community. Everyone in the community shut down, and we didn't. We continued to offer meals and a place for our membership to sit and even use the washroom.
Because of the many relationships we have built within the community, we were able to continue feeding and supporting people in need of our services.
I think that organizations working together is great, especially our organizations working together, because it just helps build that community.
The Community Kitchen is just one of the many essential services and initiatives provided by the Friendship Center.
1, 2, 3, 4.
When days are dark, there's a light inside you. When nights are long, no worries in your mind. You don't feel the weight we carry for you. You don't see the world through tired eyes. When all you know suddenly unravels, the world somehow has now turned upside down. You might hear.
Throughout this journey, the broader community has been there along the way, responding to calls for volunteers, donating items, funding projects, and gathering with us. There have been mountains to climb and hurdles to overcome. The needs within the community have changed and in some ways have grown, but so has our Friendship Center. Through reconciliation, we continue to forge through with the love and support of our partners, our donors, and our community. Tonight, the Grand Prairie Friendship Center celebrates with you in gratitude and community. Hi, hi.
And when storms